Well, we've run the car twice now, and if you'll recall, we set up the car, did a setup video and everything, where we went through and just had to take a guess on this front end, on the ride heights and stuff. And we've run the car twice, and this video right here, this one I'm excited about, because the first time we ran it, we did not get a chance. I was so busy and there was so much chaos, I didn't get to take a magic marker and mark those shocks. You know, you hear guys talking about like recording your data and figuring out what your load numbers are. I've got the data, y'all. We're gonna get it together right now. Better stick around. Last weekend, before we headed out for Clay Hill Speedway, I took, on the front of the car, I took a black Sharpie marker and I painted the entire shaft of the right front and left front shocks. All right, so we ran that night. Track was totally dry, slick. Didn't get the car to really roll or work on the suspension a lot until we got to the feature. Made a few adjustments. If you watch the episode, you'll know what I'm talking about, where I added some lead, made a few changes. Got the car to work in the feature. Got the car where the front end was sitting down, car was rotating and everything. So I think we can get some good numbers from this. Check this out. I got me a really strong light where hopefully y'all can see. You hear people talking about using a marker. Do y'all see that line, look, see the marker here? See how this is all chrome shiny up here? That is where this car was repeatedly, over and over and over, that shock was getting to right there. Because I had painted all of this all the way up. And it's just, and I mean, it's clear as day where that line starts and stops. It's just right there. The reason that, you know, the O-ring, you can't really use the O-ring for this, because you can hit a bump one time and it take and push that O-ring way down past that. And so it'll trick you. So you use that marker. And there are two measurements that I'm wanting to get from this. I'm going to go back and get it heim joint to heim joint, center to center. Okay, so that one's critical. That one is 18 3/4 inches. Center joint to center joint, okay? Then I'm going to take it, I'm going to measure how much that chrome part of the shaft that it rubbed the marker off, how many inches that is. And that is, get over here where I can see it in the light, 3.5 inches. And if you'll recall, when we put the load stick on, we were targeting 3 inches, and I had set 3 inches at 1,800 pounds. And Mr. J. Neal at BSB, who's a lot smarter than me on this stuff, he said, it may be more like 2,000. I think he was closer than I was, because I got 3.5 inches there, and that was on a full slick track. So now that I've got those numbers, let's put the load stick back on it and see what it actually is. So I got this right front off. I was going to show you where I went ahead and wrote the numbers down. I got a dry erase board going here with my setup. I'm thinking that, like, as we work through the car this season, we just keep this going, and as we make changes, we'll just update the board, and like we'll just include it in the videos, like every time, quick snapshot of it, like here's where we're at, here's where we're at. That way I don't like drastically change and lose somebody along the way, because if we find some speed, I want y'all to find it along with me. Anyway, so I wrote down these numbers for this left front and right front here. So like that's the, like with it just sitting there, no driver in it, that's heim joint to heim joint total free height, 17 1/4 and 18 3/4. Remember, I set the mounts differently between the left front and the right front because of how these shocks compress and extend. And then the actual amount of movement as far as like the amount that it wore off of the magic marker, it was only 2 inches on the left front, and then it was 3.5 inches on the right front. So I've got where it actually is pulling down to. It's 15 1/4 inches on the left front and 15 1/4 on the right front. Now that's not the car actually being level, because there is a difference in where that top mount is between the left front and the right front. So just keep that in mind. This would be with the right front over about 2 inches, because there's about 2 inches difference. Well, look at the front there. There's about, just with it sitting there, there's 1.5 inch difference between them. So kind of self-explanatory. I will say on this left front right here, that would be happening as far as the timing on the track. That would be in the first sector at 3 o'clock. And if you just watched Mr. Jay Neal's latest video talking about track timing, that'll make sense. He's got a series where he's going to talk about entry and timing, and like how to understand going through the corner. And so like on a clock, you know, if we're going into the corner, and if midnight was exactly the center of the corner, like between 1 and 2 or between 3 and 4, if that was midnight, then 3 o'clock is where that you're just finishing, where that you're going straight, and like you have brought the nose down on the car, you've been on the brake some, you've lifted off the gas, and the car is straight line decelerating. That would probably be right in there where that this left front is actually doing that compressing. Where we're focusing on this video is on this right front. So I got the shock off. Let's get the load stick on and pull this thing down to that 15 1/4 and see what's up. This joker on here. Over here. Try not to drop you. Down here. Put that in there. Perfect. Okay. So we'll just take and turn that until tightening it just sits there and like takes the slack out. Like right there. And turn it on. We're going to hit 0. Okay, we're at 0. Now I'm going to lift this up. I did it before. Now I'm going to tell y'all, there is no right or wrong way to do this. Like, you could do this with the tire on, or you could do this with the tire off, because every car is going to be different. Every single one of them, no matter what, it's going to be different. You know, whether you've got like a Torrington bearing, or like the type of spring and how it's set up in the jack, and like which lower control arm you've got. Like, no matter what, it's going to be different. So the main thing is just to do it exactly the same way on your car every time, and then you can take and you're going to build a list of data that's going to tell you, I know when I'm at this setting the car acts this way. So you know, like I just leave the tire on, that, you know, that's my process. So I'm just going to sit here and crank on this thing till I get it all the way down to 15 1/4 inches, which I know is going to be just about all the way collapsed, because I checked, and when I screw it all the way in, it'll go to 14 3/4 inches. So I had to make sure I had enough, because you can adjust like your ends and stuff to make sure you're in your travel range, and then turn around and from that throw it on there. And I know when I got about 1/4 inch sticking out, I can put my tape measure on it and see how close we are. This is the information that I had, up to this point, I had not been gathering. I bought this load stick last year. It was a good investment, but you know, then it's this level of discipline that you've got to, you know, sign up for, to like actually get the kind of information that really makes it pay off. And like, you know, start gathering that detail. Okay, now it's getting hard. And you're doing this right here, folks. Remember, safety-wise, I'm not under the car, anything like that. Don't put anything underneath there. If something was to break loose, you want to make sure that you don't have a hand, a finger, or anything anywhere that could get caught or bit or anything. Because time I get this cranked all the way down, now it's going to have some pressure on it, y'all. She's going to be tight. I can tell you this much. Car's holding more than 1,800 pounds on a slick track, which that's a good thing. And just to let you know, as a frame of reference, like my load number on this is like with the Nova ratio lower control arm, and I've got that lower mount on that shock all the way out as close to the spindle as I can get it without it hitting it. Yep, we're fixing to pass 1,800. Mr. J, I think you were on the money. I think you knew something. You didn't just come out and tell me point blank, but I think you do something. I believe that's exactly where this thing's going to, is 2,000. Okay. Let's see where my number is. I'm starting to get close, so. I gotta wipe the sweat out of my eyes, y'all. It is a bad hot dude here. Speaking of heat, y'all know I built that fan shroud, right? Because we were just like cooking the engine. It was 97 degrees last Saturday. It was 85 degrees at like 10 o'clock that night when we went out for the feature. And it was 190, solid 190. So all it needed was a fan shroud. Okay, 15 1/4. Y'all looky there. 1,971 pounds. That's what that was actually going to when I was entering the corner. And like in the feature, we were just hitting the numbers exactly the same over and over and over. And I know I'm really confident in that number right there. An interesting point, if I played around with the car, I did shove the nose every once in a while. So I know that that's on dry slick, low bank. That's pretty close. That's pretty close. I mean, maybe it would go, you know, maybe I could have put a little bit more, you know, pushed it a little bit harder and stuff at times, but that's pretty close because every once in a while I would mess up, and I tried to stay in the throttle and just trail brake into the corner and see if I could get the car to stay loaded up better to get off, and, you know, I would shove the nose a little bit when I did. So, man, that's it. That's very useful information. So now that I know that, right, that's 3.5 inches of travel. Now the next question is 3.5 inches of travel what I want? Because if I want that to be 3 inches instead of 3.5 inches and get to that same number, I can do that. Like, you know, I know a 950 spring, you know, at, you know, 3.5 inches of travel, like, puts me right there. So, like, if I was to go to a 1,000 pound or a 1050 spring, that would reduce the amount of travel, but I could set it up to where the car goes to exactly the same point again. I don't think I'm ready to do that yet. Right now, we're gathering intel. That's what we're doing. We're gathering intel. The important point, though, I do want to make. This shock is giving us another piece of information. So regardless from where my static ride height is, my free ride height when I'm not on the track, regardless of where that's at, we know where that this is going to when it compresses, when it gets in load. And look how close we are to running out of travel. Now, I already know I intentionally set this car up to where it will bottom out my lower control arm and all of that before I actually hit the bottom out on the shock by about 1/4 inch, okay? So when I take and I look from a measurement standpoint, I'm 1 1/4 inches from running out of travel to where that is, and 1/4 inch of that it can't do because the lower control arm will hit the frame before I get that last 1/4 inch right there. That means that under normal conditions, I'm within 1 inch of bottoming of this out. So I know that I'm hitting my minimum number as far as like how far down this car can compress. Like, it's right here. So for example, like if I put different springs on and I make a change, I need to try to target that load number down to get back to this, and then it might have a higher ride height, you know, sitting there static, or it might have a lower ride height sitting there static, but my load number is going to be where it's going to need to be. I hope that makes sense. This is kind of new for me, but I'm doing a lot of research on it, a lot of studying, and, you know, like, this is the critical one, not the one up here with it sitting in your shop, this one down here. And I think we're right. If we're not right, we're close for sure. Left side, study that for just a second. So notice on this left front how much travel. I've got about 2.5 inches of travel available on this left front right here. I've got this left front raised up pretty significantly, and I could lower it quite a bit that if I wanted to put a lot more cross weight in this car, and because of all of that work we did to get that perfect bump steer, when we were doing that video together and we were working out a geometry plan for the front where we had just like several inches of travel on the front of this car with perfect bump steer, well then I know that I've got a lot of range to work with on my left front and the car will still handle very good. I got good camber and caster curves going on in this car. So I feel confident that we could really make some pretty significant ride height changes to this car, you know, on the left front, and the car would still perform well and it would let us be able to explore, you know, what would work better. All right, so I'm feeling fairly confident on this left front. We may try some stuff, you know, like for example, I think I would go ahead and try that 300-pound Gorilla Fist BSB shock and like pull that left front down and force the car, you know, through the center of the turn in the sector 2 and off, you know, force it to have more bite, you know, by restricting this left front tire's ability, you know, to put load into the right rear of the car. So I want to try that, and I think that I'm going to mark up that shock, and I'll bet when I switch to the 300 that I'm going to find that my mark goes lower because the shock starts staying down and running and rubbing at a lower spot than what we just measured there, where, you know, it still had 2.5 inches, it hadn't compressed yet. So it's just a lot of new information here, and that's what we were after. Like, we want to scientifically figure this car out before we get to the Nationals, because I got like 6 weeks left. We got to figure this car out. Let's see, what else? I'm gonna go ahead and collect this data from this left front as well. As long as I've got it and got the ability to get it, I better find out what it's doing while I can. So this one was at 17 1/4, and we're taking it to 15 1/4. So I know it's at 17 1/4 right now. I'm only got to turn it 2 inches. Let's see, which way do we go, John? That way. Oh, one more thing. So, you know, I pay attention to the comments. So a lot of good information y'all have helped me with. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. When y'all leave me comments, it helps me as a racer. It's much appreciated. One of y'all told me, says those front jack bolts, Jason, you better watch them without a jam nut on them. They'll turn on you. And I've never had jack bolts turn on me. And I'm like, I don't really think it's a problem. Yeah, well, I'd never put Torrington bearings on a spring before either. And so I had the numbers wrote down, measured, and yes, the right front jack bolt moved on me. And so I took and put a 1-inch pinch nut on them, and I did pinch nut them. So thank you. Appreciate you calling me out on it. Like I said, I depend on y'all. Thank you. Oh. Let's see, where am I at? I'll just keep cranking away. Next thing you know, I'm way past where I should be. There we go. 1,448, we'll say 1,450 pounds is what this left front was going to. And that's probably happening during that initial entry. And then beyond that, it's probably just like slowly rising back off of that as I run through into sector 2 of the turn is what I would expect it to be doing. So, just good information. We're going to start building that database. And I think what I'm going to do is maybe on the website, you know, I got a website, Dirt Race Life, where I just list all of this information. So go there if you're looking for any details. But maybe we'll do something where that we've just got like the historical, like everything we've done and all the numbers and stuff, where we can kind of build a database there. Here's one final look at the setup board. We might need a bigger dry race board before this season's over. But I think we're going to go with this. We're going to turn right around, take this right back to a track again this next weekend. I think I'm going to put that 300-pound rebound on this left front, and I think I'm going to put some more bite in the car. I think this car will continue to turn with more drive in the car as far as left rear bite. I'm probably going to load that left rear chain up some more on the preload and leave that 40-pound block on the right rear to start and see how that works out our next time around. So make sure you're subscribed, and we'll have that video coming up next. I will see you next time.